Hey guys, this is the Media Men. I'm Keegan.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Lucas.
And today is our review of Jurassic World.
So 22 years after the events of Jurassic Park, John Hammond's dream has now been realized and the park opened as a fully functioning resort.
However, due to diminishing returns every couple of years, they have to bring in a new attraction, which leads to an extremely genetically modified dinosaur.
Which leads to extremely terrified guests when shit hits the fan.
So starting off with the things we liked about the movie, director Colin Trevorrow delivers an entertaining experience in his first major blockbuster film.
Another thing that we really liked about the movie was Chris Pratt's great performance as Owen. He played a raptor tamer and developed a really interesting relationship between them. It was actually one of the most compelling parts about the movie, and probably the relationship that most audience members, including us, got the most invested in. There's a lot of really touching moments.
One of the most surprising things for me was actually Bryce Dallas Howard's performance. You know, going into the trailers after seeing all those, I thought that she was going to be, you know, a very stereotypical, uptight businesswoman lady who doesn't really care about anything. But she actually turned around and became one of the more interesting of characters. I was glad that, you know, you saw some character development with her, and I thought she gave a very good performance as well.
Another thing that was great about the movie was the pacing. It was able to keep you engaged throughout, whether it was a dramatic scene or a more lighthearted one. You never felt like you were losing focus of what was actually going on in the main story.
Actually, when I first saw it, I needed to go to the bathroom really badly, and I didn't feel like I had a good moment to get up, which I think speaks volumes for the movie. Another thing that we all really liked about the movie was that it had really, really well done suspense and tension. Every time the Indominus Rex was on screen, you were just on the edge of your seat and maybe a little scared, but it was really riveting the entire time.
I agree. My stomach was in knots because I was just so tense, just like, oh my god, trying to see, you know, who would make it out and who wouldn't sometimes.
And you were never sure where the climax was going to come, actually. You didn't realize it was the climax until it was in the moment. You don't anticipate it coming, so you really got the full experience of it.
Something else worth mentioning is that the special effects were also very good and very well done. I've heard some complaints that they were overused, and I don't think that at all. I think they were perfectly placed, and they also had some use of animatronics somewhere within the movie as well.
The kids were also more self-sufficient in this one than in Jurassic Park, which made them more interesting and less frustrating to watch.
No one can forget in the first Jurassic Park when the older sister in the movie turns on her goddamn flashlight and immediately forgets how to turn it back off. And there's no absent-minded moments like that with the kids in the Jurassic World. They're not quite as reliant on the adults in this new one as they were in the old movie.
Which makes them seem like a more useful character and more important to what's going on.
Although the kids were better in this movie, their backstories felt a little bit incomplete. You didn't really get the full understanding of what was going on with them. You didn't build enough of an emotional connection. To be clear, this isn't like a huge flaw in the movie, but it is a problem enough that we all feel that it's worth mentioning.
You felt like there were certain scenes or moments that were cut out from the final cut of the movie where you would have gotten more of the information to make those moments feel more relevant to what was going on.
There's a couple points in the movie where they bring up specific things involving the kids that they don't bring up ever again later in the movie, so it feels like a pointless thing to bring up.
Almost like they're trying too hard to set things up for a sequel. The only glaring issue that I really felt that the movie had was with Vincent D'Onofrio, who played a military-obsessed man, had a few cliched subplots that didn't really fit in with the movie, or they kind of felt like excuses to do certain things that I don't think were needed. You could have gotten rid of them and still had all of the same events occur in the same order.
His whole plan felt kind of ridiculous, and it was definitely the thing in the movie that was like, they could have just gotten rid of that.
There was enough drama going on without those sections of the movie that you could have just added the use of it into Chris Pratt's character and it would have given the same result. The only other negative we really noticed throughout the movie was some tonal inconsistencies here and there where it would go from a more serious scene to kind of a humorous moment. It was never enough to take away from the movie itself, and you were still on edge when the suspense came back.
They were going for a certain feeling with that breaking of the tension, but they didn't quite hit it. It was a little missed interpretation when it was conveyed onto film.
It was too drastic of a transition. They could have gone from serious to less serious rather than from serious to humor immediately after.
Overall, we thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was just a really entertaining experience, and us as huge Jurassic Park fans, all of our expectations were met, despite the couple things that we didn't like about it.
And I completely agree with that. I think we all are going to recommend you see it in theaters, IMAX if possible.
Alright guys, if you liked the movie or if you didn't like it, go ahead and leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about it. And if you liked the video, hit subscribe, hit like, share with your friends. That's it for the media, man. Signing off.
We out.
Love subscribers!